We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome and great afternoon, everyone. My name is Robin Ronkus from San Bernardino County Department of Public Health, CalFresh Healthy Living Program. That is the Nutrition and Physical Activity Education arm of CalFresh. I am also coordinator of the County Nutrition Action Partnership, and I will be your moderator for this webinar entitled Good for Students, Good for Schools, How CalFresh Promotion Will Move Districts Forward. It's a groundbreaking webinar, and it's hosted by Share Our Strengths, No Kid Hungry, the San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department, School District Nutrition Directors, San Bernardino County Department of Public Health, CalFresh Healthy Living, in partnership with Healthy San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. First, what I'd like to do is recognize and offer my sincere thanks to the CNAP CalFresh Outreach and Schools Work Group Planners, the dynamic duo Daisy Munguia Pinon and Robert Hernandez from No Kid Hungry, who provide the support, clarity, and wings to our vision of feeding families and children. And also thank you to Tommy Lee, who is operating our webinar today. Also the fabulous Ariana Michelle, who as the CalFresh Outreach Coordinator from the County Transitional Assistance Department, and also our CNAP School Meal Access Co-Chairs, the indomitable and visionary School Nutrition Directors, Dr. Betty Crocker from Redlands Unified School District and Julie Nichols with Adelanto Elementary School District. Partnership and collaboration really takes on a whole new meaning when you have this amazing dream team, and they truly are amazing. Before we get started, if you go to the next slide, Tommy, I have a couple of housekeeping announcements. We do welcome questions, and we will do so after each speaker's presentation. You can chat, incorporate the question in the chat box, and or raise your hand, and we'll have someone call on you. If time runs out, feel free to continue to place questions in the chat box, and our speakers will continue to answer those questions and or exchange contact information for further communication. And please be muted to prevent audio issues. At the very end, we will also have survey questions to evaluate the webinar, and this will help us to formulate future trainings, resources, informational webinars, and even work groups to meet your needs. So for today's agenda, we're going to talk about the whys, hows, and resources for CalFresh outreach and promotion. We'll start off with opening remarks and go into our importance of CalFresh outreach for students in schools. We'll talk about CalFresh onboarding training. We'll have Healthy San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools provide resources and our physical activity opportunity, and strategies to increase CalFresh enrollment and closing. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin with opening remarks from our Superintendent, Ted Alejandre, with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools via a pre-recorded video. So Ted is now in his fourth term as the county superintendent since 2014. With more than 3 decades of experience in public education, Mr. Alejandre has served in several positions at the school and district levels, including at one time he was superintendent in the Caipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District. Mr. Alejandre works collaboratively with educators, families, and stakeholders to provide advocacy, leadership, and services on behalf of more than 406,000 K-12 students attending public schools in San Bernardino County. So Tommy, when you're ready, you can go ahead and launch the opening remarks.
Hello, and welcome to the Good for Students, Good for Schools webinar. I am San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Ted Alejandre. We here at San Bernardino County Schools welcome a first-of-its-kind direct partnership with the San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department, No Kid Hungry California, and Public Health CalFresh Healthy Living. This partnership facilitates access to CalFresh by opening doors for communication and generating ongoing collaboration opportunities. This afternoon, we'll hear how CalFresh outreach can make a significant impact on your school's students and families. According to the latest estimates, as many as 13 million children in the United States live in homes deemed food insecure. This term means those children spend each day wondering if and when there will be food on the table. No Kid Hungry is a national campaign which focuses on federal and state programs that can make an enormous difference for these children. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, also known as CalFresh in California, is one important example of these programs. CalFresh plays a critical role in reducing hunger and poverty by supplementing a family's food budget. This ensures each family member is getting adequate nutrition. Recently, California also became the first state to promise 2 free school meals to every public school student. The Universal School Meals Program, which will launch in the 2022-2023 school year, is part of the state budget agreement reached between Governor Gavin Newsom and the legislature earlier this year. With 1 in 5 school children in San Bernardino County facing hunger, the program will be a tremendous relief to many families in our region. However, this solution only goes so far in addressing the food insecurity so many households are experiencing today. We're gathered here to discuss how the promotion of CalFresh programs and initiatives will move districts forward and be mutually beneficial for students and school districts. I want to thank all of you for being here, for supporting programs that promote child health, and for doing your part to end childhood hunger in San Bernardino County. Together, we can continue to transform lives through partnerships and through education.
Okay, thank you. Our thanks to Superintendent Ted Alejandre for that inspiring remark, those inspiring remarks. So now I have the privilege of introducing Mr. Gilbert Ramos, the Director of San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department, and he provides direction and oversight to TAD's workforce, providing the public assistance programs for residents countywide, and he strongly believes in a culture and environment that supports excellent customer service at all levels. Thank you, Mr. Ramos, for your commitment and partnership with schools, and I'll give you the spotlight.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Robin, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gilbert Ramos, and I am the Director of San Bernardino County's Transitional Assistance Department. It's a pleasure to be with you here this afternoon in this first of its kind webinar, Good for Students, Good for Schools, and how CalFresh promotion will move your district forward. I think we can all agree that nutrition is a basic necessity for health and growth, for healthy growth and development. The ability to eat a nutritious meal should not be a choice that has to be made against other basic needs. And nutrition in general should not be difficult to obtain from anyone. Yet for a variety of reasons, such as unawareness or misinformation or even stigma, we continue to see some children and families and even some seniors struggle to get their basic nutritional needs met. And simply put, it shouldn't be that way. But the good news is we can all make a difference. And that's why you're here today. The partnerships the San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department has forged with San Bernardino County Public Health, as well as San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, and also other local school districts, helps to bridge that gap with nutritional programs like CalFresh, direct certification, and even the community eligibility provision, which I think is going to be talked about more later today. But it does take commitment, and it does take an effort to build these relationships. We have to spend time to share our knowledge with each other and what our expertises are so that each of us know and collectively we can reach our common goal together. In this afternoon's webinar, I hope you gain some understanding of what these nutritional programs are, how to successfully outreach with them, and inspire you to take action to ensure our children and families have the basic nutritional needs met each and every day. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and I wish you a great webinar.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ramos. And I love the words that you spoke about commitment and building relationships toward a common goal. And I think that's what we're here to do today. So thank you so much. Now, our first content presenter is Dr. Betty Crocker. She's a mover and shaker in our county for children in schools. Dr. Betty Crocker serves as the Director of Child Nutrition Services at Redlands Unified School District. And she is a Le Cordon Bleu chef, registered dietitian. She has a graduate degree in public health and nutrition and a doctorate in policy and leadership. And she has worked also as co-chair of my CNAP School Meals Access Collaborative and is one of the founders and co-chairs of the Quad County Collaborative, a coalition of directors and public health departments of LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. So Betty, we look forward to your perspective on why CalFresh outreach is so important for students and schools.
Well, first of all, Robin Ronkus, you know, you own my heart, and I would follow you to any rainbow to change the world here in San Bernardino County. You know, out of all 58 counties in the state of California, I always say the great things start right here by us, inspired by new conversations that maybe we hadn't thought of before. The pandemic has brought a lot to us. I also have a co-presenter. I will do a formal introduction a little bit later, but the unsung hero in all of this is Mr. John Nelson from Link. Tommy, would you go to the next slide, please? And I wanted to kind of start with Redlands Unified School District. This is hashtag, this is Redlands. We have an enrollment, we're a declining enrollment, like most folks in this age of the pandemic. We have just shy of 20,000 kiddos. We have 27 schools, 3 high schools, 4 middles, 16 elementaries, and then I have 4 independent and continuation schools. Mr. Ramos said that he thinks we're going to talk about community eligibility provision. Yes, Mr. Ramos, we are. Redlands is 100% CEP. For those of you who are also interested in the other metric, we are 68% free and reduced. Our district boundaries, we are all over the place. We have the city of Redlands, the city of Loma Linda, Mentone, Forest Falls, and then we also encompass areas of the city of San Bernardino and also Highland. Next slide, please. So CalFresh, you know, what is the big deal about CalFresh besides the obvious of its, CalFresh obviously serves our families. So for school districts, it also serves us quite well in the direct certification benefits to the school district. When we have families enrolled in CalFresh, this assists in district funding through our unduplicated account. This assists for the school nutrition program funding. This is how we became qualified. One of the ways that we became qualified for community eligibility provision, or CEP. It also expedites annual district LCFF processing for further district funding. Next slide, please, Tommy. So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of picture into our window here at Redlands Unified School District. Our web culture is what I call it. And here is going to be our web culture in full bloom. Next slide, please, Tommy. All of this is inspired our days of the pandemic. We created what we called a welcome station, and we did this huge parent survey, and we just found that the welcome station was a place where we were able to connect with our families, and we found ourselves in the center of many conversations that were happening in our community. And you know, that famous saying, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so we became the connectivity point for our families to give information for what was going on, either at our grab and goes or with the annual process of putting in everything for from CalFresh to everything else that was going on for our holiday service. Next slide, please. And so on the connect piece, communication strategy, we have a really wonderful web system where we have a nutrition radio dial, so it's easy to access. Schools are a trusted resource. For us on our nutrition website, we built it once thanks to Link, and it could potentially go out to the country our county, and our state. We have synchronized our ecosystem here at Redlands Unified School District on our web platform with the district office, with the school sites, and with our Department of Nutrition Services. And I'm about ready to show you that. Next slide, please, Tommy. So this is what our main district web page looks like. This is what many of our families go to. And you'll notice, next slide, please, that there is a prominent button, a radio dial for nutrition. This is how our services are branded on the website. This is how our families and our colleagues can access the information. Next slide, please. On all of our school websites, this is how the websites are constructed. They all have the radio dial. I happen to pick up Highland Grove Elementary. My mom's a substitute teacher. This is her favorite place to substitute teach. And the big thing that we learned this year on that connectivity piece is that it's important for families to have this information, but it's also important for our colleagues at the school sites that are taking maybe calls or sending out big broadcasts to the parents so that they can easily access all information that is on the nutrition website. Next slide, please, Tommy. So here it is. This is our nutrition website. And I just took a snippet from our homepage. This is the very first page that our parents and colleagues are introduced to. Next slide, please, Tommy. And right here is the CalFresh button. Next slide, please, Tommy. When you click this CalFresh button, then you are immediately given an opportunity to either go into this particular case, go into the pandemic EBT or the CalFresh. Next slide, please. Once you hit the CalFresh button, I'm super proud of the content. This is the nexus of all of our partnerships. So we created this prototype for our family to reach this CalFresh information by the No Kid Hungry toolkit. On this slide, you will notice, next slide, please, Tommy, that we have this content in Spanish as well. No Kid Hungry provided us the content in Spanish. We were also able to access Feeding America. Next slide, please, Tommy. We put the Feeding America video on there, and it also comes in Spanish as well. And then we allow our families to go ahead and click the next slide, please. And this is the content that is driven to. So it's directly pointed to everything that our colleagues have been working on. Next slide, please, Tommy. And without further ado, we have Mr. John Nelson. John, are you on? Are you there?
I am, yes. Thank you, Betty.
Yeah, of course. John is our SVP of National Partnerships for Link. Honest to goodness, he's a super humble guy, but him and his team are single-handedly helping us make all things possible for our CalFresh outreach. John, take it away.
You are so kind and such a good friend, and I have enjoyed the years of working with you. And I love your, you just attack anything you do, and you go after it with this huge heart. And I stand in awe watching the way you move forward for child nutrition. And so, just from me to you, I got to tell you, I so appreciate seeing that. Betty, thank you. I am, like you said, I am John Nelson. I am the SVP of National Accounts for Link. And as a company, we have been in child nutrition for over 35 years. We really work with a number of products today. And in San Bernardino County, for example, I will tell you every district, not only in San Bernardino County, but within the state of California, uses at least one of our programs. One of those is Collier. That is a product that is used by every school district in the state of California because it is the software that processes reimbursement claims with the state. Another of our programs is eSchoolView, and it is a website for school districts. So for school districts looking to build their website, they would use our eSchoolView product. Another is Titan, and Titan is a point of sale inventory nutrition management software for school food service departments. And that is in 1,400 districts across the US. And then, as Betty was talking about, iSight. iSight is a nutrition department website. So it ties right in with a district's existing website and allows you to do just as Betty was showing, communicate with your community and be able to customize much of that. One of the things, you know, I'll tell you, one of the things that I love seeing, when we created Eyesight, and I was a part of the team that was actually building that solution. When we created that, it was because we had food service directors that said, we just need to get our message out. We need to have something that delivers the message of who we are and what we do. And we don't have time to write any of the content. And so what we did is we really put together a nutrition service website and kind of said, here you go. We'll kind of do some updates with this, and here you are. A director like Betty in Redlands Unified has taken that to new steps. And here, what you just saw, you saw where she is making it easy for families to connect with CalFresh and to be able to receive their much needed benefits. As she was talking to me, and I can tell you, you know, as a company, let me back up. As a company, I can tell you, we really look to lean into the conversation, lean into what is needed out there in the industry today, what actually helps deliver school nutrition. And so it was in this conversation with Betty that all of a sudden you've seen the cartoon light bulb, the aha moment took place that said, oh my goodness, we actually can create content for Eyesight that is a complete page of the No Kid Hungry Toolkit, all of the information that is available, easy ways for families to connect in a language of their choice. So Betty showed you how she's quickly turning a page into Spanish, but we have the ability to quickly turn that into any language. And so that aha moment literally came from a conversation this week. And it makes me say, my goodness, we can do so much more in partnering with you all. And so I love the opportunity that got uncovered just from good conversation and really being invited to the table. So I want to thank you all for that. And in San Bernardino County, you know, as I was taking a quick look at the 33 districts, and I shared with you that we work with all of them, all districts in the state for reimbursement. But I can tell you that we work with 23 of the 33 today in at least 2 products. And 16 of the 33 districts in the county use Eyesight today. So a lot of you are using this same product that Betty showed today. And my goodness, I think that between Betty's brilliance and her just go get it attitude and some of our technology abilities, we can further help you. So Betty, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I thank you all for the work that you're doing because it makes a major difference in feeding America's youth. So thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Tommy, could you go to the next slide, please? Beautiful. Thank you. And here is our closeout from John Nelson and myself. Thank you so much for the opportunity to give you a spotlight of what our partnership has yielded with No Kid Hungry and his crew and our CalFresh heroes.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Betty and John, for your presentation today. I love because the schools are definitely our community connectivity point, like you said, Betty, and they're definitely a trusted resource, and that's why we need to have CalFresh outreach with the school websites as well. So thank you both. Now, Ariana Michelle will be leading the questions and answers throughout the webinar. She is the Deputy Director of San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department and oversees TADS Region 5, which covers Rialto, Fontana, Yucaipa, and 29 Palms. So I'll hand it over to Ariana. Were there any questions?
Thank you, Robin. At this point, there aren't any questions in the chat room, but I want to open it up. Are there any questions?
Okay, and then if not, you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat box and I'll have Betty and John answer them during the webinar. That's okay.
Okay, so we have actually our first question. How can schools receive more funding in order to offer our students who we all agree deserve the best so they will have proper nutrition to succeed? Can our children receive the best fresh whole foods at that are without added sugar, preservatives, and also grown source without chemicals.
Was that for Betty?
I'm so sorry.
Is that question actually written down or?
Yes, that's actually in the Q&A box.
Oh, okay, in the Q&A.
Okay,
Sure.
gotcha.
So,
Oh, the
Betty, I
Q&A.
think, yeah, we're running a little bit behind. And so would you be able to answer that question in the Q&A box? And that'll be
Yes.
visible to all participants.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. Next on deck. Oh, Ariana, you want to go ahead and introduce Andrea Bravo?
Yes, thank you, Robin. Thank you so much for that introduction. So as Robin mentioned, I am the outreach coordinator for the Transitional Assistance Department. We are very happy to be a part of this partnership. And yes, it is my turn to introduce our very own Andrea Bravo. Andrea is a program specialist too with the Program Development Division. She is a team lead in CalFresh and represents the county and state level and local work groups. Her wealth of knowledge really brings a great support to the Transitional Assistance Department. And like I said, it is my pleasure to introduce Andrea.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Ariana, for that introduction. And I want to say thank you to Robin, of course, for the invite. And I just want to give special kudos to not only Dr. Crocker, who motivates me every time I hear her speak. She knows that I adore her, but to all of you that are in the nutrition departments at your LEAs, we honor you. We applaud you for all the work that you have been doing for our students. And we just thank you that you continue to be committed to our children in the county of San Bernardino. You guys have been on the front lines for the last year and a half, 2 years, and I am glad that you are receiving your due recognition that you should have received a long time ago. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Next slide, please. So today we're going to do simple onboarding of CalFresh. What are we going to talk about? An overview of the program, benefits of the CalFresh program, some high-level eligibility rules, who's eligible, who's not, updates to public charge, which I know is a hot topic, application information, including the new website, benefitscal.com, which was previously introduced. We're going to talk about pandemic EBT because I know you want to know what's on the horizon with it, and then we'll discuss resources. Next slide, please. So for those of you that aren't aware, there are 4 pillars to the CalFresh program. Today, we'll be talking about 2 of them throughout this webinar. My presentation will focus on CalFresh food. There's also CalFresh Living, which will be discussed later on, which is also a co-sponsor of this webinar. There's also CalFresh Disaster Response, which is very important in the state of California over the past year, 2 years, as well as CalFresh Employment and Training, otherwise known as E&T. Again, today I'll be focusing on CalFresh food. Next slide, please. So the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, which our superintendent of schools talked about earlier, also known as CalFresh in California, is the largest nutrition assistance program in the United States. This program helps low-income families and individuals purchase nutritious and healthy food. Now, one thing to remember is that SNAP is the nation's first line of defense against hunger and the cornerstone of all federal nutrition assistance programs. We've learned that during the pandemic since the beginning of 2020. So I really want you to pay attention to the information that's going to be forthcoming during today's session. Next slide, please. What are the benefits? Well, participation can help improve nutritional status and well-being and increase independence, which was touched on by Mr. Ramos earlier today. CalFresh helps low-income families feed children. More than 50% of participants are children, but as he touched on, it also helps our elderly and disabled population. 11% of participants are age 60 and over. Next slide, please. So again, discussing more benefits. It helps our local economy. It supports local food retailers. The average monthly CalFresh benefit per household is approximately $300. Now that was in 2017, 2018. We anticipate that number going up with the cost of living adjustment as of October 1st. It generates economic activity. Every $5 of CalFresh benefits spent generates $9.20 in total community spending. How does it help businesses and workers? Well, it achieves optimal performance. We understand that those that are fully nutritious, that have correct and healthy nutrition, take fewer sick days, and their children take fewer sick days, so they're able to attend work. And also it attains self-sufficiency. CalFresh benefits supplement the food budgets of low-income workers so that they can stay independent and work towards self-sufficiency. Next slide, please. Most American citizens and legal immigrants with low income can receive nutritional assistance through CalFresh, and eligibility depends on the total income and expenses of the household. So CalFresh varies depending on household circumstances. That's important to remember. Most CalFresh households must have a monthly gross income equal to or less than 200% of the federal poverty guidelines, and net income equal to and less than 100% of the poverty guidelines. CalFresh allows deductions from income such as housing costs, which include rent, mortgage, child support payments paid for children outside of the household, medical expenses, and dependent care costs. Next slide, please. So who is not eligible? Those that are undocumented, those that are over the income limit, fleeing felons, those that are convicted of certain violent crimes, and some college students. Now, with college students, there are current waivers due to COVID. So if you are a college student or you have a college student in your household, you're welcome to come into the Transitional Assistance Department and speak to one of our workers so that they can assist you with any questions or potential application that you'd like to submit. Next slide, please. So updates to public charge. We know that there were some changes that were pending 2019, 2020, and those changes have since been reverted back to the original law. So we want to explain what the original law is. A definition of public charge. A public charge is a person who depends on long-term government support. If a non-citizen is a public charge, they may not be able to become a lawful permanent resident, otherwise known as a green card holder. So what is the update? So the federal government will no longer consider CalFresh participation in their public charge decision. That's great news. Receiving CalFresh does not affect an individual's chances of getting a green card or becoming a United States citizen. And CalFresh participation does not affect an individual's immigration status. Next slide, please. Additional information. Did you know that US born children may receive CalFresh benefits if all eligibility criteria are met, regardless of their parents' citizenship status? Other programs such as Women, Infant, and Children, otherwise known as WIC, and the National School Lunch Programs, NSLP, do not count as a public charge. And non-citizens may opt out of a CalFresh application while remaining household members receive benefits. So that's something to know in moving forward. And our staff at the Transitional Assistance Department are there to assist you in processing your application. Next slide, please. So ways to apply for CalFresh. An application for CalFresh can be obtained on the internet, or it can be requested by phone, fax, mail, or in person. Applications can be received online at benefitscal.com, which I'll discuss a little bit later. You can download an application from the web. You can get the application from the California Department of Social Services website, or you can get an application on the Transitional Assistance Department website. Or you can go into any one of our 19 local offices and obtain a paper application and submit it there as well. Next slide, please. So Benefits Cal is our new statewide portal for electronic applications. Those of you that have heard my previous presentations before, it was previously known as see4yourself.com. Statewide, we have since changed systems, and now it's benefitscal.com. And this is what the homepage looks like. Next slide. So again, see for yourself transition to Benefits Cal on September 27th, and customers are able to do the same things that they were able to complete on See for Yourself and more. So they can apply for CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal. They can use the Am I Eligible screening tool to determine potential eligibility. They can report changes such as address, pregnancy, household composition, employment, and income. They can complete and submit their reevaluations, recertifications, semi-annual reports. They can view messages and correspondence, receive alerts, request and cancel appointments, manage their account, upload documents, and the website can be navigated in 12 different languages. So we've tried to remove as many barriers as possible for those that are residents in the state of California. Next slide, please. So YouTube has a few really great videos for Benefits Cal. I wanted to show you this video here, which talks about how to apply for benefits. Go ahead and play the video, please.
Welcome to Benefits Cal, an easy way to apply for and renew food, medical, and cash assistance benefits. This video will show you how to apply for benefits. It's easy to do. You do not need to create an account to apply, but an account is helpful to track the status of your application. From the homepage, select Apply Now. An overview of the application process displays. Here, more information is provided about what to expect during the application. Click Begin to get started. This is the application summary screen. It shows each section of the application and the status. You can navigate back to the screen at any time. Click Your Information to continue the application. Select a language preference, then click Next. Answer the questions that appear on the screen in the boxes provided. Click Next to continue. Check the box next to each program for this application. Click Not Sure What to Choose for more information. Then click Next. Continue to answer the questions on the screen through Your Information, People, and Household Details, clicking Next to continue. In the Income section, starting with Employment, answer the questions and select the boxes for Household Employment Status. Select the individual in the household with a job. Continue to answer questions about the individual's job and click Next to continue. The end of the Income section shows a summary of the income for the household on the screen. Click Next to continue the same process for expenses and assets. We recommend uploading the required documents before submitting. The more information provided, the faster the application will be processed. After uploading the required documents, click Next to continue. After reviewing a quick summary of the application details, after answering a few questions, setting an appointment for an interview for CalFresh applicants is required. Select a preference, then click Next. Now it's time to sign and submit the application. Enter your name, the date, and check the required boxes. Then click Submit Signature. After a final summary of the application, click Submit Application to finish. Congratulations, we received the application. Save the confirmation receipt through text, email, or download. For more videos, visit benefitscal.com/help or visit the YouTube channel, Benefits Cal.
So as you see, submitting an application is fairly simple. The website is user-friendly, and those of you that are at districts can easily assist your families in submitting an application. Next slide, please. Now, I know that school districts like to provide help in regards to creating accounts. There are additional videos on the website, including how to create an account. So those of you that are interested, please go to YouTube and you can learn how to help your families create an account on Benefits Cal. Next slide, please. What you've all been waiting for, more information about pandemic EBT. So again, just to recap, The Families First Coronavirus Response Act of 2020 approved temporary emergency standards of eligibility and benefit levels under the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008, which established and authorized pandemic EBT. It is a provision that provides emergency food assistance to children who have temporarily lost access to free and reduced price meals due to pandemic-related school closures. Next slide, please. So households are eligible to PEBT benefits if they contain an eligible child who received free or reduced school meals under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act and have missed 5 consecutive instructional days due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It is important to note here that citizenship status does not impact PEBT eligibility at all, so it is much different than CalFresh. Next slide, please. So what's currently going on with CalFresh? Well, as of right now, we have PEBT 1.0, 2.0, summer PEBT, and PEBT 3.0 on the horizon. That should make some of you very excited. So PEBT 1.0, that was for school year 2019, 2020. All benefits have been issued, and those were the benefits that were a maximum of $365 per child. PEBT 2.0 is for school year 2020, 2021. So the past school year, we still have a remaining issuance for the months of February through May. Those will be issued this month in May 2021. So your family should already receive uploaded benefits on their PEBT 2.0 cards. And the maximum benefit is $123 a month or $68 a month based on the type of learning that is occurring in your current school district. So if they are all virtual, then they receive the maximum of $123. And if they are hybrid, meaning part virtual, part in class, they'll get $68 a month. Summer PEBT is for the months of June through August 2021. Those benefits will be issued in December. Again, that'll be a reload onto the PEBT 2.0 card, and that will total a maximum of $375 per child. And good news, PEBT 3.0, the plan has been approved by the USDA, so we're really excited. And that is for this current school year, 2021-2022. The benefit issuance, that is to be determined. As soon as I get more information, I will provide that to Ms. Ronke's, of course. But we do know that the daily amount has increased and it will be $7.10 a day. So more to come on that. Next slide, please. So the CDSS, California Department of Social Services, PEBT all stakeholder meeting will occur on Thursday of this week, November 18th, and will be from 2 to 3. If you haven't signed up or you haven't attended these meetings, they are very important. They provide a lot of great information, especially for those of you that are overseeing the nutrition programs at your LEAs. So make sure that you get that information from Ms. Ronke's. I provide it to her every month. So again, that's this Thursday, November 18th from 2 to 3. Next slide. And for additional resources, the CDSS website has information and resources for CalFresh. This flyer that you see on the right of your screen is the actual California Department of Education flyer that has been developed for CalFresh food. Additional links for Benefits Cal, they're available on the Benefits Cal website underneath the help link and also available on YouTube. Next slide. We also want to let you know that the Transitional Assistance Department is here for you. Applicants and recipients, authorized representatives who have a completed release of information on file may contact the Customer Service Center regarding any case questions or issues. The number is 877-410-8829, and our Customer Service Center is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I also want to let you know that the California Electronic Benefit Vendor may be contacted regarding EBT card issues, non-benefit related. That number is 877-328-9677, and they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next slide, please. I want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please reach out to the San Bernardino County website. You see that listed here on your screen. And if you would like to contact us for any further presentations, please contact the Transitional Assistance Administration at 909-388-0245. Thank you again for having me, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Andrea. That was wonderful. I think we have time for questions. So Ariana, I'll give it to you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Andrea, again for that presentation. We do have a question in regards to the PEBT meeting. Are you able to share the link to the PEBT meeting?
Yes, I will share that in the chat, and I will send it to Ms. Ronques again so that she can forward to her distribution list.
Yes, and if
Perfect.
you'd
Thank
like
you
to,
so much.
and if you'd like to be part of the County Nutrition Action Partnership mailing list, please include your information in the chat, and I will add you to our CNAP email list so that you can receive notifications.
Also, I did receive a question in the chat box about partnering up with the Transitional Assistance Department. You can. I provided the email. It's the tadoutreach@hss.sbcounty.gov. And if you have any questions about this presentation and any future inquiries, you can email that inbox. Any other questions? Let me check the box. I think we have a couple more. Is there a local food bank or community-based organization that can also assist with the CalFresh application process? So we do have, and I think Andrea touched a little bit on the CBO accounts through Benefits Cal. There is a how-to video on the Benefits Cal YouTube channel that goes over how to create a CBO account so that you can then apply or complete applications for your customers. Let me see. Can farmers be permitted to register their point of sale terminals to accept PEBT and ABT funds just like grocery stores without needing to be at the farmers markets? Families were unable to use PEBT and EBT funds. Yeah, so families were unable to use PEBT and EBT funds when farmers markets were closed during the COVID stay-at-home orders. Many markets have not opened fully yet. Andrea, do you have anything to add to that particular question? If not, then I think we can probably
maybe I can answer some of that.
Thank you, Robin.
I just want to say real quickly, Robin, if I may, that PEBT cards are authorized for use at any place that accepts EBT cards. So if the vendor already has a contract as an EBT vendor and point of sale vendor, then PEBT cards should be accepted. If there are any problems with that particular card, then I would advise that household to contact the EBT vendor customer service center number.
Yes, thank you. That was a great answer. Also, there are 5 cities that have farmers markets that accept PEBT and doubles it. So, for example, if you go to the Rialto Certified Farmers Market, you scan your PEBT card for $10, they'll give you an additional $10 to spend at that farmers market. And I know at least 5 that I know, all of them are open right now that accept EBT and do market match. It's called market match. One is in Redlands, Rialto, Phelan, Hellendale, and Upland.
That is all the questions we have. Robin, do you want to move on to the next topic?
Yes, definitely. Ooh, we gained a little bit of time, so that's wonderful. So thank you, Andrea, for your great information, for answering those questions as well. And we'll go on. And so next on deck, we have Farah Northcott with Healthy San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. She's worked for over 10 years working with the CalFresh Healthy Living Grant. She's a registered dietitian, has spent most of her career in school nutrition education and physical activity promotion. So I'll give the floor to Farah.
Thank you, Robin. Next slide, please. I'd like to introduce you to our CalFresh Healthy Living staff at county schools. We have 3 educators and 2 staff that support our day-to-day operations of the program. We are funded by the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health. Our purpose and goals here in San Bernardino are to empower low-income residents toward healthful dietary choices and promote physically active lifestyles for low-income residents. So we also focus on preventing nutrition and activity-related chronic diseases and improving food security among CalFresh eligible population. We create supportive food and activity environments in collaboration with the community to make healthy choices easier in schools. Next slide, please. So how do we do all that? We have several strategies. We work with district and school site parent groups throughout the county to educate and empower them to make healthy choices for their family. This includes nutrition and education, physical activity education, recipe demonstrations, gardening lessons and support, and helping parents gain knowledge and skills to advocate for healthy change. Next slide, please. During COVID, we haven't stopped this engagement. We've adapted. Last year, we moved to a live virtual format for all of our parent classes. We've provided many classes that combine nutrition education and recipe demonstrations along with physical activity. Next slide, please. We also have provided nutrition education and physical activity classes for students. And before COVID, teachers typically provided the education after we trained them and provided them with resources and technical assistance. Next slide, please. However, during COVID, we shifted all of our education to live virtual events. The key for us this year has been partnerships. We have successfully partnered with organizations such as the Dairy Council, local farmers, community gardens, the YMCA, and the Cucamonga Water District. Next slide, please. For school gardens, we provide training and resources, and we're very excited about upcoming partnerships to include this work because it definitely was paused during COVID, but we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. Next slide, please. Another component of our outreach is professional development. I mentioned earlier that our model prior to COVID entailed teacher trainings on our curriculum, providing the resources, and then they would conduct the nutrition education with the students. Next slide, please. However, we haven't had the same number of trainings, obviously, but we definitely provide technical assistance to teachers that are implementing the curriculum on their own. With our support, teachers have been successful with this model throughout distance learning, especially in the preschool setting. So we've been able to do that virtually. Next slide, please. Summer meals have always been a large part of the work that we do. We partner with many districts and provide enrichment activities for students and nutrition education classes for parents. Next slide, please. And during COVID in 2020, we weren't able to get out very much. However, in the summer of 2021, we got out more and we provided those enrichment activities. Next slide, please. Another fun initiative that we have is playground stencils, or also called painted playgrounds, typically on preschool sites, although we have done this with a couple elementary schools. We paint stencils on the blacktop to promote physical activity and movement during recess. And this is one of the more popular programs with our teachers. We have many different types of stencils ranging from words to animals to nutrition messaging. Next slide, please. Our work also involves influencing the policies, systems, and the school environment to create a healthier space for students and families. So what does that maybe look like? An example would be creating a healthy celebration policy for in-class parties, changing the school fundraising policy to include non-food items. We can create policies to include movement throughout the school day. We participate on wellness committees to provide technical assistance, training, and resources for nutrition education in schools, among other initiatives. And most recently, our focus has become addressing food insecurity. So with COVID, we all know that the struggles that families face. And we're specifically interested in speaking with districts to formalize screening for food insecurity. It's important to identify and provide resources and to support families that face this troubling time. So next slide, please. I'm putting in a little plug for the Southern Region Student Wellness Conference. Some of you may have attended in person or virtually the past couple years. We have our call for presenters going on right now. If you're interested, please apply. You can scan the QR code or visit the website. At this conference, we talk about all things student health, behavioral health, mental health, physical health. So it'd be great to see you there, either to attend or to present. Next slide, please. So the key to our programs and services this past year and a half has been adaptability and flexibility, which I know has been the same for every single person in this meeting currently. So what we'd like you to know is whatever your needs are, we will work with your district or school site to provide a customized solution. So in partnership with schools and the community, we are here to help students and families lead healthier lives. Please reach out to us if you'd like to discuss any of our free services. And you can also find us on Twitter at HealthySBCSS. And so please reach out to us. And I thank you for this time. And I'd now like to introduce you to one of our CalFresh nutrition educators, Danielle, and she will lead us in a physical activity break. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Farah. Okay, so I hope everybody is ready to get up and move for a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and do a fall themed physical activity break. And I hope you guys can see, I know you probably won't be able to see my entire body, but you can at least see a good portion of me. So make sure that you are in an area where you can move freely and you are not gonna hurt yourself. So go ahead and get up off your chair and let's stand up nice and tall. I told you we're gonna be doing a fall themed activity. So let's stand up like a tree, nice and straight and tall. And we're just gonna go side to side and sway like a tree. Now we're gonna get our branches out and we're gonna sway our branches. All right, now you're gonna grab your rake and you're gonna rake up all of those leaves that fell on the floor. Okay, you should have a huge pile of leaves in front of you. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna crunch those leaves. So we're gonna stomp on them. All right, now we're just gonna stand up and lift our heels a little bit. Like we're gonna touch the top of that tree quickly here. And we're gonna add our arms. So we're gonna reach up and we're gonna pick some apples for that apple pie we're gonna make. All right, next we're going to extend our arms out like a scarecrow. Nice stretch, and then bring them in and give yourself a hug. And stretch them out again. And give yourself a hug. And stretch them out again. And give yourself a hug. Now we're going to take our turkey wings and we're going to do some circles. We're going to go forward and take it backwards. All right, next we're going to prep our arms. We're gonna pick up that big pumpkin that we found at the pumpkin patch. So we're gonna squat down. All right. Next, we are going to wiggle and jiggle like a can of cranberry sauce. So do your best wiggle. All right, and now you're gonna take your football and you had a big Thanksgiving dinner, you're gonna throw that football outside for some physical activity. So go ahead and throw that football. All right, now we're just gonna take a couple of deep breaths and just think about what we're thankful for this year. All right, I hope that was a fun activity for you. Thank you for participating. And I'll send it back to you, Robin.
Okay, thank you so much, Danielle and Farah.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you have questions for either one of them, go ahead and include that in the question and answer box. And, or if you need resources from them, maybe you can go ahead and put your, I know it's on the slide here, but go ahead and put your contact information in the chat box as well. Okay, the next part of our agenda features Daisy Munguia Pinon, Associate Director for Share Our Strength, No Kid Hungry campaign. She oversees the Southern California region and focuses on ensuring children in need are enrolled in effective federal nutrition programs, equitable initiatives, community partnerships, and maximizing student participation in school meal programs. And the second part of our dynamic duo is Robin Hernandez. She's the School Access Manager for No Kid Hungry's California team. She has a background in the school nutrition world and provides technical assistance to school districts implementing federal nutrition programs. So both of these dynamos also co-chair our CNAP School Meal Access Collaborative, and they bring a lot of wisdom and lots of resources. So Daisy, I'll give the spotlight to you.
Thank you, Robin, for that introduction. I'm a little bit under the weather, I'm a little bit sick, so in case I start sneezing or coughing again, I may go off video, so y'all don't have to see that. But yes, we're going to talk about, we're really going to focus on strategies to increase CalFresh enrollment, why you should be doing this, and Robin Hernandez is going to be talking about partnerships. So next slide, Tommy. Before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about what the No Kid Hungry campaign is. We might have new partners or people that don't really work with us on a regular basis. But No Kid Hungry is a national nonprofit focusing on ending hunger here in America. We believe that this is a solvable problem, and it really starts with school meals. So we really focus on supporting school districts, charters, county superintendent of schools on making sure students have access to 3 healthy meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and supper, and really support summer meals. We offer consulting, technical assistance. We can do webinars such as these for school districts and community partners at no cost. We really just hope for increasing access and creating equitable programs for our kids. We also do a lot of granting. We do grants to community partners, to school districts, to charter schools that they can use to either start, expand, or sustain a program that's helping feed children. These grants go towards equipment costs, maybe marketing, even staff capacity at some times. And then we do a lot of work on the state and federal level when it comes to advocacy, really supporting different policies that help fight poverty and end childhood hunger here in America. Next slide, Tommy. So, we really heard about Betty, how she was able to support CalFresh enrollment for her kids in Redlands by adding the CalFresh application to her website. And then we kind of heard from Andrea the whole process of CalFresh, in case you have families come to you and asking questions on, do I qualify for CalFresh? Who do I talk to? Where's the application? So something that many school districts don't know is that it's actually a requirement for your school district to have the online CalFresh application on your website. So I want to talk about SB 708, which came into effect January 1st, 2016. And the first part of this bill is the bill directs schools to make applications for free and reduced price meals available electronically online, provided in multiple languages, and to follow uniform standards. All districts do this. But under section 2E1, you see that there's other requirements, one being the online application to CalFresh. So this is actually supposed to be, it's supposed to be in effect since 2016. And in preparation for this webinar, Robin Ronkus and her team did an analysis to look at all the school districts in San Bernardino County and see who actually has the CalFresh application on their website. And out of 33 school districts we have in SB County, you can put in the chat, how many do you think actually were compliant and have that online application to CalFresh? Go ahead and put in the chat and take a guess. Remember, we have 33 public school districts. Someone said 7, 13, 33. So in reality, only 5 out of 33 school districts in SB County are following this requirement. Out of those 5, 2 of them are presenting on this webinar, which is Redlands and Adelanto. But something really important that we saw was that even if you have the CalFresh application, there was no information maybe in certain districts on what CalFresh is. So families that do not understand the program, do not understand they're eligible, may not know, okay, what program is this? Do I qualify? Am I a mixed status family? So we're hoping that after this webinar, we can go ahead and do another analysis and really see the impact of this webinar and see, how we increase from 5 to all 33. And even more, we have to look at the charter schools also in this county and see if they're also following this requirement. So I'm going to put the link to this bill in the chat. But remember, it's SB 708, and it's actually a state requirement to do this. Next slide, Tommy. Something else we're going to do right now is we're going to compare data, San Bernardino data on Medi-Cal enrollment and CalFresh enrollment. And the programs are very similar. And we really want to see, why there is usually a gap in counties between Medi-Cal enrollment and CalFresh enrollment, and if that gap exists within the city of your school district. So before we get started, just for people that may be new to Medi-Cal, Medi-Cal is a program that allows low-income seniors, adults, and children to gain access to healthcare and medical services. In order to be eligible for this program, you must be a U.S. citizen, a state resident of California, a permanent legal resident, and your household income cannot exceed more than 138% of the federal poverty level based on your household size. So a lot of the eligibility requirements are very similar to CalFresh. So we want to make sure, we want to stress that a lot of people that are Medi-Cal are potentially also eligible for CalFresh. Next slide, Tommy. So here's some data we got from Ariana from the TAD department. And we have data for each city within the county of San Bernardino, and we also have it even broken down by zip code by each city. I went ahead and just put a few examples on there, so you can see that the gap does exist in San Bernardino County. If you look at San Bernardino, people that are on CalFresh and Medi-Cal for the city of San Bernardino, it's a little bit over 18,000. But there are over 66,000 people on Medi-Cal. That's a gap of 40,000 people that might also be eligible for CalFresh. So that means like over 72% of people that are in Medi-Cal are non-CalFresh. That's a really big gap. This data does include seniors, adults, and children. We have seen for neighboring counties that when there is an increase in CalFresh enrollment, overall, we tend to see it more for seniors and adults, but we don't see those numbers move for children. And that's why it's super important that the first step we do is put the CalFresh application and information on our school websites. And then Rama's going to talk about partnerships, how you can work with nonprofits, with government agencies, and even for-profit companies to increase CalFresh enrollment in your school district. If you want to know where the gap is for your own city, email us. We can get that information to you. But you see a trend between CalFresh and Medi-Cal enrollment throughout all the cities in San Bernardino County. There are thousands and thousands of families that qualify for this program that are currently not signed up or might not even know that they do qualify. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Armin Hernandez so she can talk about the CalFresh toolkit and also how to partner with different agencies to increase enrollment. Next slide, I'll hand it over to Robin.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Thank you, Tommy, and thank you all. So today, I'm really excited to share with you guys that if you want to get started with CalFresh outreach in your district, we have a wonderful resource available for you. So our CalFresh Outreach for Schools toolkit is full of tips and tricks for getting the word out so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It is available for free download on our No Kid Hungry California webpage and on the San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department webpage. I will place the links in the chat for you as soon as I'm done. And I highly recommend that you go immediately, visit and bookmark this toolkit just so you have it on deck, and even send it to the people in your network who handle outreach to families in all forms in your district. I'm going to share a few ideas for how you can further get the word out through these partnerships. Also, just FYI, in the coming weeks, we will be sending all of our webinar participants an email with this slide deck, the webinar recording, and a copy of this toolkit as well. Next slide, please, Tommy. So here's a sneak peek of what is in the toolkit. We're really proud of this collaboration between San Bernardino Public Health, TAD Services, and No Kid Hungry for joining forces to provide you everything you need ready to go in this one resource. So in this toolkit, you're going to find an explanation of why this outreach in schools is so important and beneficial, so that if you do pass it on to district personnel outside of your department, or maybe somebody in your district who has not participated in this webinar, they will be able to understand the impact and the need for this outreach. We have a page explaining step-by-step how to connect your families to CalFresh via your web channels. It really is as easy as just connecting with your IT person and putting a CalFresh button and a link on your page. DSS does not require that you ask for permission to make that link. You can absolutely do it on your webpage. We also have a list of all of the locations for the county TAD offices that can serve your families. I recommend when you're setting this up on your own web pages that you put the information there for whatever your local TAD office is, so that families know where they can go if they want to get information in person. Next slide, please. And then my favorite part of the toolkit is definitely all of the bilingual verbiage that has been pre-written for you in order to do this outreach. You will have access to an official flyer in English and Spanish that is customizable and can be distributed in print or can be used for various media platforms. I don't know if you remember Betty's webpage at Redlands, they use the same flyer graphic for their feed on their nutrition website. And then there's a blank space in the bottom for you to put any content that you like, or you can copy and paste any of the verbiage that's available in the toolkit as well. The verbiage that is there can be used for, it's pre-written for things such as newsletters, a website post, an email or letter to families, a robocall, robotext. There's also several social media posts that are pre-written for you with the links already embedded. So really all you need to do is copy and paste it into whether you have a Facebook or a Twitter feed. And you can actually do that that distribution of information several times with different pre-made social media posts. And the best of all is they're all already in English and Spanish. Next slide, Tommy. And the best approach when doing this outreach in a school district is really by leveraging all of your partnerships. The fact of the matter is you're going to reach more people when you are not siloed. So first of all, lean into your county partners. They are the experts and can provide answers on the finer detailed questions here. So you have your public health department, County Nutrition Action Partnership, otherwise known as CNAP, and healthy living departments that can help assist you with getting connected. You have your San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, and you have your TAD, otherwise known as Transitional Assistance Department or Social Services offices. Each of these county offices can assist you in one way or another when it comes to answering questions or even assisting your families. In your own home district, this is where you can probably make the biggest impact. You are going to have several departments and advocates in your district that should probably receive a copy of this toolkit. So I encourage you to please send it out to them. So you have your McKinney-Vento advocates, or AKA homeless liaisons, who work with your highest needs students. And you also have principals, which are great to reach out to because many times they have their own school websites, their own RoboBlasts, their own social media channels that they use, or Twitter accounts. And principals are considered one of the most trusted sources within a school district when it comes to parents. Any of you on the call who have kids, you probably know when you get those that information from the principal, you tend to listen to it. So definitely reach out to them with this toolkit as well. They may have some really innovative and creative ideas for ways to get the message out. If you have a public information officer or a diversity equity director, you should definitely get in touch with them, as they may be able to help when it comes to prioritizing outreach at a district level. And of course, reach out to your IT person, as they can definitely make use of all of this content lightning fast and very quick, since it's what they do, and get it posted on your web pages. So definitely try to set a goal of not only getting it on your school nutrition website, but maybe on the individual school websites or the district website as well, because those are going to get some high traffic. And also, just again, I can't stress this enough, the importance of getting your families enrolled in CalFresh as well can really help open up a lot of other opportunities for your district when it comes to your funding, and also making your school district more eligible for programs such as community eligibility provision. So please try to reach outside of your own department on this. All of your district partners have a stake and interest in student well-being, and can make a huge impact. There's also several nonprofit organizations that may be able to help reach your families, such as No Kid Hungry, 211, Feeding America, Community Action Partnership, and Inland Coalition for Immigrant Justice, just to name a few. You can reach out to your CNAP, CalFresh Healthy Living Department, like Robin Ronkus at San Bernardino County Public Health. She is a dynamo, and her team can get you connected to all of these nonprofit organizations that may be able to help you get the word out, or maybe even connect with individual schools to do on-the-ground outreach to families. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Julie to close us out for the day.
Oh, just 1 second. I think we have a minute for questions. So Ariana, are there any questions?
So we don't have any questions in the chat, but we would like Robin said, we have some time. Are there any questions? It looks like we don't. Thank you, Robert Hernandez and Robin Ronkins. I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Daisy, also, and Robin Hernandez. Awesome presentation, very practical strategies. So definitely, please take advantage of that CalFresh toolkit that Robin Hernandez will be placing in the chat box. That has been formally approved and branded by the San Bernardino County Transitional Assistance Department. So it is a very good resource, and it has that stamp of approval. Okay, last but not least, we have Julie Nichols She is Director of Nutrition Services with Adelanto Elementary School District. And for the past year and a half, she's been the willing CNAP School Meal Access Collaborative Co-Chair, and she gives a voice to our school districts in the high desert. Julie has helped to launch the Quad County Collaborative, reaching the school district nutrition leaders in 4 counties. She's also a kindred spirit in that she loves the outdoors just like me. So she's going to close us with a district perspective and action steps. So there you go, Julie.
Thank you very much, Robin. So that was a lot of great information. Let me try to summarize in case anybody missed anything. Some bullet points for you. CalFresh, also known as SNAP, has several benefits. It helps families purchase nutritious food. Children qualify for free meals at school. It helps school district receive more funding because these students are directly certified. It cuts out extra paperwork for parents and districts because they don't have to fill out meal applications or do verifications. So who doesn't love that? The new CalFresh website is now called Benefits Cal. It used to be seeforyourself.com. Don't use that one anymore. You can do a lot more now on Benefits Cal than before. So you can apply for other programs. 50% of recipients are children. So it can also benefit seniors. That's a big number, 50%. Some college students may qualify. That's really useful information. CalFresh does not count toward public charge, so it will not affect getting a green card. I know a lot of my parents in my district are concerned with that. So that's good information to know. So using the new CalFresh toolkit and posting the link on your district or your community website will benefit families and community members. So in my experience, CalFresh has helped my district become 100% CEP. Families receiving benefits are uploaded from the direct certification list from the state. Some students can be extended benefits from other household members. And all of these numbers add up to qualify you for CEP. So applying for CEP is a lot of work, but the more families on the direct certification list, the better for your district. Families on the CalFresh program also can qualify for other benefit programs like assistance with electric bills. You get discounts on that. So it can help in a lot of other areas. So as Betty said, schools are trusted resources. It's our duty to provide help for our students where we can. Just look at those little faces that come to us daily for meals, and you can't help but want the best for them. So a couple of action items. Work with your CalPads and your IT people or your public information officer in your district to use the CalFresh toolkit. It's free to use and it's really simple. All the work is done for you. You may have a program being used in your district already that can be utilized to implement the toolkit. Get the message out to the parents and community. You can also partner with principals and homeless liaisons. So I just learned this recently too, but as it was spoken, Bill SB 708 says districts are required to put the information on how to apply for CalFresh and other programs on their website. So only 5 districts out of 33 in San Bernardino County have the link on their website. We need to increase that. So let's try to make it 33 out of 33. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that summary of action steps. I think that was very clear and to the point, and I love that. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please let us know if this webinar was helpful to you by answering the survey questions that will be at the end of this webinar. This is going to help us formulate future webinars, resources, informational, more information and potential work groups to meet your needs. And I just want to say from my heart, a great thank you to all of our wonderful speakers today. And we wish you all a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. So thank you for joining us today. And thank you to our speakers.